When I decided I wanted better coffee, I decided to ask one of my good friends who is a graduate of culinary school and owns his own restaurant what he recommended. This is exactly what he pulled up. The Cuisinart DGB 900BC. Great long model name. So part of the reason he recommended this was right here at the top. We do have a bean holder, so we can put whole beans in this and we can close the grinder or open it. But ultimately you can decide whether you want ground coffee or fresh beans that this will grind for you. So the top up here holds a half a cup of fresh beans, which is awesome. Or you can push this button right here on the side and pour your coffee directly in. Now, taking this apart, what we have is when we pull this whole section out, we have what determines what kind of grind your beans are gonna have. And then we've got this basket to hold the grounds. You can put grounds directly in this basket and just use normal ground coffee. You don't have to grind your beans, but either is an option. And that was one of the things that I was really looking for, is to be able to grind my own beans. So we do see that we also have a nice little display. We have a power button, an hour, a minute button, and a program button. We have grind off and on and strength control. Now this knob in the middle is your grind control, and it determines how many cups of coffee this is going to make. So you can set this to 6 and it will grind enough beans for 6 cups of coffee. You can also set this program the timer to decide what time you want this to start. So kind of like an alarm clock, if you want this to turn on automatically at 6 a.m., you can program it to do so. You can program it to turn on at 6 a.m. and make 6 cups of coffee for you. Okay, so the pot itself is fairly heavy. It's nice and thick. You can tell it's a sturdy pot, and the burner works extremely well as well. So the pot, what we do is we turn the knob, and this entire piece pulls out. And so we can see inside the pot, it's nice and thick. It stays warm for a long time, even when the burner's off. Like, this is definitely a decent pot. Like most coffee pots, you pour the water in the back and you can go from there. So like I said, this has a lot of settings, and the fact that it grinds beans or uses grounds is nice. But ultimately, why I stopped using this machine is for 3 very specific reasons. First of all, even though you can determine how many cups of coffee you want, if you set this to 6 cups of coffee and you fill the back with water, it's going to grind enough beans for 6 cups of coffee, and it's going to make 12 in the pot. Even though it has the ability, it doesn't cut off the water source. For me, I wanted to hook this directly into the back of my fridge, and so it would run automatically every morning without interruption. Unfortunately, I can't do that because I can't regulate the amount of water that I want to put in here at a time. The second reason is, even though this is nice, it's kind of cumbersome to pull this apart and to put grounds in there. If you're not grinding coffee, if you're just using grounds, it's kind of cumbersome to use. This built-in filter doesn't work great. It's a pain to clean, and it's kind of cumbersome putting it all back together. Again, not the biggest deal, but the third reason I stopped using this is because even as nice as this pot is, it still seems to have a lot of difficulty pouring correctly. It's just, it doesn't seem like it wants to pour well. It's almost like you have to fight with it. Like, it keeps it nice and hot. It does do that very well, but every time you go to pour this, it just seems like it's a battle, like it's a fight. And so ultimately, for those 3 reasons, I put it away. It's a great coffee pot all in all. For me, it just wasn't a good fit. I hope this is useful.